gang violence and other kind of violence.
Get away! I could be at work, at school, in my car, I can still get shot by the police, but I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.
What's good, Shadow Realm? It's the Black Gen Z Mindset. Make sure you go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe, and let's get into the video.
Again at 12:30 with the latest on breaking news. 2 people have been charged in the murder of a mother in Cheltenham. She was shot earlier this month while sitting in a Dunkin' drive-thru.
The district attorney is calling this crime a cold-blooded killing. Action News reporter Sharifa Jackson is live in Norristown now, where the details of the arrest were announced just a short time ago. Sharifa.
Yeah, Sarah, John, the DA, he was very emotional throughout this news conference. He says he's having a very hard time just understanding and trying to make sense of this, again, calling it cold-blooded. He says that this was a targeted shooting that was well thought out and also planned for at least 2 months. And
Woo! So 2 months they had planned this assassination of a woman who was heavily involved in the community, a woman who was a teacher, and we will get to know the victim eventually, but I want you guys to know that the community is pretty much silent overall on this topic, okay? We talk about protecting black women, but when it's time to actually protect them and speak up about the horrors that are happening in the community, everybody, scatters.
he also adds that the 2 defendants, neither of them knew the victim at all, neither the shooter or the mastermind, as he called it, behind this. And their names are Zaki Al-Hakim, he's 33 years old and identified as the shooter, and 34-year-old Jolie Jean, both arrested for a number of charges, including conspiracy and murder.
So these 2 super gremlins, they think they're Bonnie and Clyde or something, and I told you guys, crash out culture is real. It really is. And the story is just wicked, guys.
Now, authorities say the pair planned and conspired to murder Rachel King, who was the longtime girlfriend of a man named William Hayes. Now, Hayes had an affair with the defendant, Julie Jean, last year, and after he broke it off, authorities say that Jean continued to harass Hayes and the victim, King. Now, King was killed as she waited in her car at a Cheltenham Dunkin' drive-thru as multiple people were in line. Investigators say through surveillance and phone records, they were able to find that she was followed by the 2, her son in the back seat, and witness his mother's murder. The
son in the back seat. I told you guys, these super gremlins do not care. Women, children, they wouldn't have cared if they hit the child. These super gremlins are on demon time. And we just did a story very similar to this, except it was in Atlanta. So this is a common phenomenon that happens in the community, where you have a woman being deleted and her child witnessing the incident.
DA says he's been working again to make sense of this. The details cold-blooded of this innocent woman. King's parents also spoke publicly for the first time today.
I've seen a lot of horrible and even horrific homicides, evil homicides, in my nearly 30 years of doing this as a prosecutor, and suffice it to say, I'm struggling with this one, where a truly innocent woman is targeted in a long planned murder, all because of an ended affair.
We can't articulate how grateful we are for the work that has been done to this point.
And these are the dangers of dealing with these super gremlins on demon time. Because a lot of these guys are not willing to walk away. A lot of the women who these guys might be involved with are not willing to walk away. And unfortunately, this is what it comes down to. But to me, it seems like, the other woman who is involved in the shooting, you know, she had no care in the world for having some type of solidarity with another black woman. She just aired her out.
And the work that is still yet to be done, that they are committed to doing. Above all, we are in agreement. We want justice done.
And King was the mother to that 11-year-old and also a well-loved teacher. Now, the DA says that Al-Hakim, he is connected to another murder in Philadelphia. Again, that pair, they face multiple charges, including conspiracy and first-degree murder. We're live from the Montgomery County Courthouse. Sharifa Jackson, Channel 6, Action News. John?
Police say it all started with an affair and ended with an innocent woman killed, murdered in a Dunkin' drive-thru. And tonight, 2 people are charged with the murder of 35-year-old Rachel King. A killing prosecutors call horrific. This is the 10 o'clock news. I'm Jason Martinez.
I'm Sheba Russell. The mother and teacher was gunned down in front of her son. Police say in a deadly scheme involving a hired hitman. Chris, investigators are crediting new technology with helping them solve not just this murder, but another one as well.
That's right, Sheba. In fact, just hours after Rachel King was gunned down in a Cheltenham Dunkin' Donuts parking lot in front of her 11-year-old son, Philadelphia police already had the accused triggerman in custody in connection to another homicide 4 days earlier. That's when the murder for hire story began to unravel.
Wow.
It was a cold-blooded killing, a targeted murder of an innocent person.
The Montgomery County District Attorney announcing the arrest of alleged gunman 33-year-old Zaki Al-Hakim of Philadelphia and 34-year-old Julie Jean of Elkins Park. Investigators say Jean was having an affair with the longtime boyfriend of Rachel King last year. And when he broke it off, Jean began harassing both King and her boyfriend. Police believe Jean was the jealous mastermind when she recruited Al-Hakim to kill the beloved mother and school teacher.
Wow, so there you have it. These super sister gremlins are on demon time. She just couldn't let it go. Man, I'm telling you right now, the women in the community are getting way more violent. Way more violent, like levels that you couldn't even imagine.
And on the morning of April 11th, the months-long plan was carried out.
It was a conspiracy. It was a murder for hire.
Cell phone evidence recovered from Al-Hakim's phone include pictures of King, maps of her apartment, a pin of her home, and the route she usually takes.
Damn.
Prosecutors also say Jean wiped conversations with Al-Hakim from her phone, deleting 787 texts minutes before she was interviewed by detectives. And it's believed to be the very first local case successfully utilizing the technology of the National Integrated Ballistics Database, unveiled by suburban law enforcement earlier this month.
What this machine does is it's able to compare a fingerprint or unique markings on these FCCs or the fired casings.
Investigators say the 9mm shell casings recovered at the Dunkin' Donuts came from a ghost gun prosecutors believe was the same weapon that killed a 36-year-old man 4 days earlier on the 5100 block of Broad Street.
Damn.
We have April 7th and we have April 11th. And they're a match.
Our hearts are hurting, but we also believe this in time. They will be healed, and we will move forward with our grandson, Jalen.
Now, both Al-Hakim and Jean are charged with first-degree murder. They remain in the Philadelphia and Montgomery County jails, respectively, both without bail. Jason.
Chris O'Connell, thank you very much. And right.
Yo, what's good, BGZM News 17 family? I'm at the corner of Jesse Jackson and Marcus Garvey. And I got some bad news for you. As you can see, I lost my job. I'm out here living in cardboard boxes outside of boarded up vacant homes. YouTube said I'm done getting money out here in these streets. They even took my funky ass suit. So anything right now would help. So go ahead and hit that Cash App, hit that PayPal, hit that GoFundMe. Hell, cop the merch. Or if you want to make the long-term commitment to the Jinquavius Jackson Fund, join the Patreon so that I can continue to put out top-notch content each and every day. Also, check out the Rumble, where there is absolutely no censorship. Link in the description box below.
Hey, yo, ain't that nigga Jinquavius? Yo, I recognize.
No, that's not me no more.
Hey, yo, run your pocket.
Y'all killing me with this shit.
Do the opposite of Antonio Brown and take
What
all your
more
shit
do
off.
you want from me?
From the heart of Philly, this is CBS News Philadelphia, and today a local DA was at a
I've
loss
seen a
for
lot of
words.
horrible and even horrific homicides, evil homicides, in my nearly 30 years of doing this as a prosecutor. And suffice it to say, I'm struggling with this one.
Rachel King, a beloved teacher and mother, shot to death in front of her son in a Dunkin' drive-thru. Authorities say the shooter was a hitman hired by a romantic rival.
This is your News at 5, and we continue to stream live on CBSPhiladelphia.com. Good evening, everyone. I'm Yuki Washington.
I'm Jessica Cartalia. It has been nearly 2 weeks to the day that Rachel King was killed.
Her murder shocked the students she taught and the community where she lived. The Montgomery County DA announced today he is personally prosecuting this case.
Nikki Dementri was there as the DA announced 2 people are now facing charges, and her parents vowed that they will be there every step of this case.
It was a cold-blooded killing, a targeted murder of an innocent person.
Montgomery County prosecutors say 34-year-old Julie Jean and 33-year-old Zaki Stephen Alakim are behind the shooting death of Rachel King. The 35-year-old mother and teacher was killed at a Cheltenham Dunkin' on April 11th while sitting in the front seat of her car, her son in the back seat.
We got a road to justice ahead of us, and he's a part of it, and that's going to be difficult.
King's parents spoke briefly at a Wednesday press conference in Norristown, thanking prosecutors, detectives, and the community for their persistence and support.
Our hearts are hurting, but we also believe this in time they will be healed and we will move forward with our grandson, Jalen.
Montgomery County District Attorney Kevin Steele says Jean and Alakim didn't know King. At one point, Steele says Jean had an affair with King's boyfriend and began harassing the two after King's boyfriend ended it. Alakim, prosecutors say, is related to the father of Jean's children.
We want justice done. We want it done swiftly. We want it done accurately. And we want it done fairly.
Prosecutors say evidence, including this map showing King's home saved to Alakim's phone, is part of the planning by the two since February. Another piece includes the silver Mercury Sable seen leaving the Dunkin'. Steele says was purchased by the two and in Jean's name. That car was also seen at another murder scene in Philadelphia 4 days before King's death. Alakim is facing murder charges in both cases.
As a family of believers in Christ Jesus, we believe that vengeance does belong to God.
Steele adds the National Integrated Ballistic Information Network machine matched casings recovered at both the Philadelphia and Cheltenham scenes to the same weapon. Although not recovered, Steele says the ghost gun matches this photo found on Alakim's phone.
I've seen a lot of horrible and even horrific homicides, evil homicides, in my nearly 30 years of doing this as a prosecutor. And suffice it to say, I'm struggling with this one.
Both Jean and Alakim are behind bars. Jean is here in Montgomery County where she was arraigned. Alakim is being held in Philadelphia. His arraignment is Thursday. In Norristown, Nikki Dementri, CBS News, Philadelphia.
Well, this is a tough one here. The details about what led to the arrests in the case of the murder of Rachel King sound like something out, well, a really bad novel or something, but it's the truth, it's reality.
I mean, and he's saying it sounds like something out of a really bad novel, but it's not a novelty that something like this happens, and it happens all the time in the community, and it's overlooked.
The Montgomery County District Attorney announcing 2 people are now charged with her murder.
It appears that it was a conspiracy. It was a murder for hire. It is a horrific killing of an innocent young teacher in front of her 11-year-old son. She was an innocent, and we're going to do everything we can in this case to seek justice for her family, for her son, and for the community that was affected by this in so many ways.
So many ways.
So we have Rachel King's brother, Alan, who's joining us because what news yesterday, learning all the details that what they say happened. What was your reaction to hearing from the DA, Kevin Steele, about what they believe happened to your sister?
I couldn't believe it, honestly. It's one of those weird scenarios you thought about, but just there was a disbelief in that somebody would go this far, like for a failed relationship. It's like, get over it.
Did you know any of this was going on between these people?
No.
Did not even a hint of it?
No. Rachel dated a friend of mine, and we went to college together. So I knew him, and when they first started dating, I told him, you know, you hurt my sister, it's gonna be an issue.
Right.
And I think that's why she didn't tell me about this.
Oh.
Prior.
Because you would have done something about it. Tell us more about Rachel. What was she like?
Just a bright spot. Just, if I had a bad day, I'd call her. She didn't even know why I had a bad day. I just call her, talk on her phone, and she would just talk, because that's what she did. She talked a lot and loud. And it'd be 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 15 minutes. It just was a better day after talking to her. And I sat there on Monday, and I realized I didn't have her to call.
Oh.
I was having a bad day.
Yeah. And you'll never have her to call again.
Yeah.
People keep saying she's a good...
Damn, he had to say it like that. Sheesh.
Good teacher.
Oh, amazing teacher. So I'm one of 5. We are very blessed to be intelligent. Our older sister never got a B, skipped a grade, never got a B. Rachel was very smart, but worked the hardest out of all of us.
Interesting.
Which made her a great teacher, because she had to learn everything differently than we did. You know, we might have picked things up. She actually studied, did homework, and all those fun things. So she just was a great teacher and had a great way of explaining things, and had patience. And the patience part is the thing that, you know, for me, for Jalen, it's hard.
And you bring up Jalen, her son, 11-year-old. How has he been handling all this, and how is he doing?
You know, as we expected, I guess, something like this. Hadn't really talked about it much. You know, we have him in therapy, seeing a trauma counselor.
And it's like, how is he gonna get that image out of his head? I mean, it's just insane, man. These super gremlins are on demon time.
Child psychiatrist, you know, but everyone in our family's world has been rocked. So it's, Jalen included, obviously he was there, but, you know, it's just, there is no normal. There is nothing to hold on to that.
By the way, if you haven't been following this story, the reason why he's going to need therapy, was he in the back seat of the car or the front seat? Or
he was in the back seat.
He's back seat of the car when his mother was shot through the driver's side window, point blank, yeah.
Yeah.
He was there.
Yeah, he made calls from the car. That's how we found out, because Jalen called.
He's the one who called.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And just hearing the details, the murder for hire and the planning and the fact that they followed her for a few days, like, how does that make you feel to hear that this was planned, and the fact that both of the suspects were there, even though she hired this person?
It makes me feel like I truly, sincerely hope that our governor signs off on the death penalty. They had multiple opportunities to turn around, to not do this. They knew exactly that my nephew was in that car. They made a very clear choice.
That's monstrous. That's evil stuff.
I don't know how anyone does that. And I don't know if the young lady's a mother or not, but she's a daughter. I'm sure she has family members.
Right.
And you just don't take a mother away from their child, like over a relationship, over a guy. It's 1 million men in this city.
Yeah.
Why?
So, the funeral's already happened?
The funeral was Saturday.
Saturday.
Yeah.
How is your family handling all this?
It's tough. I joked with my sister about doing my eulogy, and we never talked about doing hers. It was never a thought that. This was never. I run scenarios all day long. I've never thought that I wouldn't. Like, this is just no.
And it's not much to say on this one, guys. This is not anything new to us. And we all know that Philly has been, or Pennsylvania, whatever, the whole state. Hey, just throw the whole state away, right? But it's just been inhabitable due to all the violence. And we're going to see a larger trend of this continue to go on. And it's a shame. It's a shame because innocent people are being caught in the crossfire.
No, like,
you can't wrap your head around.
She was in the suburbs.
What happened?
Like, in a safe car, safe neighborhood.
Right.
So this stuff didn't happen. And it's insane to me. That's absolutely insane. Super thankful to the Cheltenham Police Department, Montgomery County detectives.
They did a good, fairly swift job on this.
And it helps. We've had armed security because no one knew why or what. And
Right.
my nephew is my greatest,
Right.
Do you think that finding out and having more details about what happened, do you think that's helped you to have closure? Or
I won't have closure until justice has truly been served.
And justice for you is to have those two people dead.
Yeah.
Just in the state of Pennsylvania, that's probably not going to happen. But please keep us updated on you, but especially Jalen. You know, when does he turn 12? Is it soon? Or?
He turns 12 in October.
October.
So
okay.
Yeah.
All right, Alan.
Yeah.
Thank you.
yes, thank you for being here, and thank you for helping us to remember your sister and her life and how she was so loved in the community, by her school, by her loved ones.
Thank you, guys.
Gang violence and other kind of violence.
Get away!